Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. I hope you're all doing well, I hope you're all staying safe, and most of all, I hope you're all fighting that war against the Grey. Today's video we're going to talk Start Collecting Warhammer Age of Sigmar, and today we're going to take a look at the Maggotkin of Nurgle's Vanguard box set. Now we're going to look at this box set in the idea that we want to build an army for the current edition, get started with Nurgle in the current edition and the current season that is in Andtor. Now, we're going to look at the contents of this box set, talk about all the different units that come inside it, and indeed some options we have when building the units up as well, before looking at a couple of units we recommend to get started with for the faction. Now, we're then going to look at a little sample army list at the end of the video, showing you this box set and the other units we've talked about in the video in a little sample army list of 1,000 points to hopefully give you some inspiration and some ideas for starting your own Maggotkin of Nurgle force in Age of Sigmar. And so, to begin with, first of all, this box set is led by Spoilpox Scrivener. This is one of the many different heralds of Nurgle, one of the different Maggotkin demon foot heroes. We have 5 wounds and a 5+ save. Don't forget a 5-up ward, thanks to discussing the resilient is just a thing that everyone in this army has. Now, we have the Keep Counting, I'm Watching You, where at the start of the combat phase you can pick a friendly unit that it will count for, and you can pick a friendly Plaguebearer host that you can either give +1 attacks to improve their rend, or indeed improve their save rolls for. Now, next up we have the 10 Plaguebearers that would go with this. These are a battle line unit with 2 wounds each and a 6+ save. It doesn't sound like much, but don't forget that 5-up ward there as well. Now, they have the Cloud of Flyers, where they subtract 1 from attacks made with missile weapons targeting a unit while it has 5 or more models in it, and the Musician will give them the ability to reroll Battleshock tests of 1 for enemy units that are within 6 inch of any friendly pipers, and the Standard Bearer potentially allows them to return models to their own unit as well. We then have a second battle line unit, which is the Putrid Blight Kings. 4 wounds each with a 4+ save. The champion of the unit actually has an extra wound, so we'll have a wounds characteristic of 5. Your Standard Bearer in there will be able to add +1 to the bravery, giving you a total bravery of 9, which is really nice. And the Musician as well allows you to reroll Battleshock rolls of 1 for enemy units that are within 6 inch of them as well. Relentless Attackers at the end of the combat phase allows you to potentially do some mortal wounds, but it is the 5 attacks at 3s and 3s, rend 1, damage 1 that really puts it through for the Blight Kings. Now, the last unit we have is actually a dual kit of sorts. First of all, we can build Puscoil Blight Lords, which are one of the units we have access to. These are essentially the Putrid Blight Kings on the Rotflies. 8 wounds each, a 4+ save with that 5-up ward, of course. They've got the Elite, meaning although they don't have a unit champion, they can issue a command to themselves. Rack and Ruin means after this model finishes its charge, you can potentially do some mortal wounds if you've got the Dolorous Toxin as well. And you've also got Relentless Attackers, same as the Putrid Blight Kings. Now, the other unit you can actually build out of this is the Lord of Afflictions, and this is a character. This will use one of the 2 models in the set, but what you can do when you build that model is you can build a single Puscoil Blight Lord, and you're allowed to run that model as a single model in this case. Now, the model you have here, the Lord of Afflictions, is one of the many characters we've got from Nurgle. 8 wounds and a 3+ save, so slightly better than your average sort of Puscoil Blight Lord. You got the Fester Spike there, which is 4 attacks at 3s and 3s, rend 1, damage D3, along with the extra sort of attacks coming out of your Rotfly. The Incubatch is your special thing where you can actually do some damage to units around you, which actually include Nurgle units because it's, you know, so super deadly. Rack and Ruin there as well allows you to deal mortal wounds when you charge, and the Swarm descends in during deployment. Instead of setting this unit up on the battlefield, you can actually put it into reserve with some Plague Drones or some Puscoil Blight Lords if you so wish to. Today's video is brought to you by Gap Games, a fantastic retailer in Australia for a variety of different miniature war games. If you'd like to help support the channel, we have an affiliate link where by clicking on and purchasing, you'll help support the channel, but you'll also help support Gap Games, which is a fantastic servant to the community. Now, looking at where to go next for Nurgle, we do have a couple of options when it comes to taking Andtorian Locuses, and the first of these is going to be the mortal one, the Rotbringer Sorcerer. The Rotbringer Sorcerer has 6 wounds, a 5-up save, and of course the 5-up ward, and is a 1 cast and 1 unbind wizard. You've got a really cool option here for the Tainted Endless Spell, where when you summon endless spells with these models, they actually count as having the Nurgle keyword, so they'll actually inflict disease on your enemies, which is really cool. And Stream of Corruption is the ability to deal some mortal wounds with your own War Scroll spell. Next, for the other Andorian Locust, we have the Nurgle Demon side of it, and you have the Poxbringer, a 1 cast and 1 unbind with 5 wounds, 4-up save. And then you've got the Captain of the Taliban's, where in the combat phase, if this model ever attacks, it can have a unit of Plague Bearers immediately attack after it. An Eruptive Infestation allows you to deal some mortal wounds if you're picking an enemy unit near a Plague Bearer host. Now, of course, when picking up Nurgle, we just talked about the Rotbringer Sorcerer and how they can affect some endless spells. You've definitely got a large variety of the universal ones to pick from here. So picking up something like the Malign Sorcery set, which gives you a variety of different end spells with multiple different effects, multiple different abilities, from anti-unit to anti-character to movement ones to ones that negate shooting to ones that can help extend the reach of your spells. All some really great options to take for your force. Now, lastly, we have the Great Unclean one. Now, he's really fun. First of all, there actually is a grand strategy available to Nurgle. If you manage to summon this model onto an objective, you can complete a grand strategy, which is fun. But this is the Greater Demon of Nurgle. It is something you probably want to include in your force. 18 wounds at 4+ save, healing itself every turn as well, which is really nice. You've got a variety of different upgrades for it. You've got its Plague Wind spell, which can inflict some disease points around. You've also got Bloated with Corruption, where if the unmodified ward roll for this unit is a 6, you actually inflict some disease points on your enemy. You've got your own Monstrous Rampage, which is like a better version of Stomp. Putrid Offering as well can allow you to cast some extra spells. And the Reverberating Summons as well. If this unit is ever armed with the Doomsday Bell, you can roll a dice on a 1, nothing happens. On 2 to 5, you receive a Contagion. On a 6, you actually receive extra D3 Contagion points. And so here we have our sample armor list for the Maggotkin of Nurgle. Now, we've actually gone for the sub-faction called the Filthbringers. Filthbringers are really fun, so they're actually going to unlock a unit option for us called the Rot Covens. What a Rot Coven is, it's an amalgamation of 3 different Rotbringer sorcerers put together into a single unit, although they can still all act independently, and this gives them some extra ability to give +1 to their casting, unbinding, dispelling if they're just part of that. You add 2 if they're within 3 inch of another wizard from the same coven, or you add 3 to their casting rolls if they're ever within the range of both the other wizards from the coven. Now, we have gone the grand strategy for Spread Rampant Disease. What this does means we have to have our opponents have all of their units on the table with disease at the end of the game. And we're 20 points under, so we've gone for a Triumph of Inspired for +1 to wounds. Now, we do have the 3 Rotbringer Sorcerers here, and the first one of them we've gone for to be our General. Is going to have the command trait Eye of the Blizzard, which potentially gets us some extra primal magic dice. And then we've also put the Muddy Grab on them, which the bearer can cast to attempt Gifted Disease. If they're not a wizard, but since this model is already a wizard, it gains it in addition, and it will also gain +1 to cast Gift of Disease, which means, you know, potentially in the coven here, you could be at +4 to cast Gift of Disease. Now, we've got Merciless Blizzard as the other spell on this model because it is, you know, probably the one that the Merciless Blizzard here is not always going to be in range. Having Gifted Disease there is nice. Merciless Blizzard can just do 46 mortal wounds, though it does have a chance to really hurt your wizard back if it goes wrong. And then we've got a second Rotbringer Sorcerer with Blades of Putrefaction. What this does is allows us to get some additional disease through by increasing the number that our disease rolls hit on, so on the 5s rather than 6s. And then we've got Hoarfrost as well for some potential extra rend on some of our units on the last Rotbringer Sorcerer. Lastly, we have our Plague Bearers and the Putrid Blight Kings in battle line, and then we've got the Pascal Blight Lords with the Dolorous Toxin on one of them. And then we have a core battalion, which is Andtorian Acolytes, meaning we have the potential, so long as 2 of these Rotbringer Sorcerers are alive, to get some extra primal dice on the battlefield. With that said, though, if you've got some ideas for how to start your Maggotkin of Nurgle with this particular box set, let us know your thoughts. Something that I guess you will have noticed is we don't have the Spoilpox Scrivener. I feel that dropping that model from the box is definitely a better place to be with 3 Rotbringer Sorcerers and the Rot Coven, but they always have the potential to summon models with Nurgle, so it still has a really good purpose to pick up that box set and still have that model in your arsenal as well. But, like I said, if you've got some ideas on how to start your Nurgle force, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. And so, thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel for more content, and also drop a comment down below letting us know what you thought about the video. If you'd like to come chat more with me and other members of our fine little community, we have a Discord server which is linked down in the video's description, and also linked down in the video's description are the best ways to help support the channel, either by Patreon or YouTube members, or by grabbing yourself some merch from our Teespring store as well. All of those linked down in the video's description, and a special thank you to our YouTube members and patrons. We'd like to give you all a shout out, so thank you to our YouTube members John Castle, Disco, James Tillman, Monty Tabletop Terrain, Ariana Edwards, Broken Chef, the Johnny84, Loch Lorick, Ronya, Greenroots Gaming, and our patrons Wasaren, Kenny Lyle, Outer and Shot First, Andrew Bowen, Cure Dynamic, JJ Austrian, Average Wargamer, Domir, Mark Harvey, James Cater, Benjamin Swallows, Redman, Iron Grinch, Colorblind Magic, Grimscold, and Andy C. Thank you all once again, everyone. Stay safe, stay well, and most of all, keep fighting that war against the grey. Ciao for now.